Welcome back. This is Pretty Accomplished, and I'm going to do a quick video today. Well, not really quick, but as quick as I can make it because this topic I'm really passionate about. I got a inbox message from a subscriber here on YouTube, and she was so kind. I'm glad she asked this question. I'm going to read it to you off of here, and I'll get right into it. So she greets me and she says, "I am a subscriber and I love your channel." Thank you. "I am a freshman in college and I would like to know if you could do a video perhaps on Greek life. Just your experience and why you chose to pledge AKA. I am very interested in joining a Greek organization. If you could, I would really appreciate it. Thanks, miracles and blessings." So like I said, I'm very passionate about this. I am going to try to go as quickly as possible because I could literally talk about this for an hour. Seriously, I could really do an hour video on this. So first of all, my experience. I had a wonderful experience becoming an AKA and being an AKA currently. I crossed in spring 2008, which was the centennial year of my organization. That was our 100-year celebration. So it was like amazing to cross during that time. I feel blessed to be a member of the first African-American sorority founded in 1908. So I am definitely still proud, as proud now or even more than I was even then. I really appreciated my experience. I can't tell you that it was always easy, but it was worth it. And I learned a lot along the way. One thing I always tell people is that AKA did not make me, but it definitely enhanced who I already was. And I say that because some people join organizations for the wrong reasons, and they allow becoming a AKA or a Delta or a Kappa or an Omega or an Alpha to completely make who they are. Their whole identity now is, oh, I'm this, I'm that, instead of who they are as a person. So don't join an organization because you're searching for your identity. Know thyself first and be comfortable with who you are as a person, and then decide to join an organization and allow it to bring out your best characteristics, not your worst, because I've seen people join for the wrong reasons and some really negative characteristics come out, which have nothing to do with the mission statement. So that leads me to point number 2. Why did I choose to pledge AKA? There's several reasons, but I'll try to be brief. I did my own research. I read the history of the Divine Nine. And if you are really interested in becoming a member of a Greek organization, I would encourage you to do as much research on your own as possible. Asking people is great, that you trust, that can be your confidants, because they can give you some really good tips and advice and some insights into the organization that maybe you won't get just from the website. But also do your own research so that you can be well informed and make your own independent decision. So I did my own research using the computer online and reading. Also, I had wonderful examples of several Greek people, both in my family and through social organizations I was a part of. Some of my mentors were women of Alpha Kappa Alpha. So I'm sure that definitely motivated me and inspired me to look more into the organization. But at the end of the day, you really have to look at the mission statement, look at what they're doing at your school and in your community and nationally, and decide what best fits you. I can't tell you what to pick. I know what I think is the best, but all Greek organizations have wonderful mission statements that you should know. It leads me to point number 3. If you want to be a member of an organization, you have to know what they stand for. And I don't mean like what they stand for at your school, just, they win the step shows, or they're the pretty girls, or they're crunk, or they have great struts, or blah, 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 blah. They're the most popular. Those are not the substantial reasons why you should pick a sorority or fraternity over another. Make sure you know exactly what they stand for. Make sure that what they stand for fits into who you really are as a person. And make sure that if you join that organization, that you can offer something to the organization that supports their pillars. Because if I am evaluating somebody to be a member of my organization, and when I was doing that in undergrad, when I crossed and we were bringing new girls on, That's one thing I wanted to know. If I ask you why you want to be a member of my organization, or if anybody asks you that, and you should be able to answer. If you don't have an answer, I'm going to believe either that you didn't do your research, or two, you may not really want to be a part of my organization. Maybe you just want to be Greek, and which is not a good thing either. So that brings me to the next point. Don't just want to be Greek. Know for sure what you want to be. And it's okay, like if you're not sure about Greek life, because I know a lot of people, like, they may not have examples in their families, or they may have never even heard of an AKA until they got to college, or Alpha or anything until they got to college. And that's fine if you don't know initially, but do your own research and don't decide what you want to be until you have done your research. And once you decide, have a definitive reason on why you want to be that. Don't just want to be Greek because you want to be popular and things like that. Like, it's silly, but people do that. So please don't do that, because then you become an embarrassment to your organization because you're not really doing anything that your organization stands for. Also, all sororities and fraternities are not equal, in my opinion. It varies depending on what school you're at. AKAs at my school are not the same as AKAs at another school. Just like Deltas are not the same everywhere. Yes, we all have the same mission statement. Yes, we're supposed to live up to the same purpose and values. Yes, we're supposed to work toward the same goals on a national level. Yes, we're supposed to be certain type of women with high ethical and moral standards. Yes, we're supposed to work for academic excellence and service for all mankind and all of that. But it doesn't mean that just because it says that in writing that every chapter does that. And it's not just my sorority, it's all sororities and fraternities. Not everyone at every school is doing what they're supposed to be doing. So that's something you also have to look into. You may think you want to be something, and then you get to your school and what you think you want to be, they're not really, you don't feel like you're going to fit in well with that group. I had a friend who that happened to. She went to a particular school. She knew she wanted to be a member of a certain organization. She was a great candidate. She did all her research. She had a lot to offer, but she chose not to even try, because when she got to know some of the women representing that organization, she knew that who they were was not who she wanted to associate herself with. So that's a hard decision. That kind of sucks that happens to you if you have your heart set on being something, and then you realize that the girls at your school or the guys at your school, you either don't mesh well with them, or they really don't uphold the ideals of the organization. Then that means that you may not get the opportunity to pledge at that school. Or it means that you may have to do it on a graduate level. So don't give up on the goal completely, but just know that sometimes because you want to be something doesn't mean it's going to work out, or that when you get to school, you're still going to want to be that same thing. But that leads me to my next point. Until you know for sure, don't say anything to anybody about it. Keep it to yourself unless it's somebody very close to you who you truly trust, that's your confidant, who you can talk to about Greek life, who you can talk to about your interests. I can't speak for all Greek letter organizations, but I can speak for my experience at my school and most MPHC organizations. You can express interest at certain points, but be discreet. You don't have to be going around telling everybody, oh, I'm interested in being this, I want to be that. You can show that you want to be something just by what you do. Do you already uphold the values? Do you live the mission? Do you already live the mission in your real life? Are you active on your university campus? Do you volunteer? Are you serious about your grades? Are you a leader? Are you kind to people? Are you a positive role model? Things like that. And when that particular organization has events, do you go and support the events? Do you speak to members of that organization? Do you try to get to know people in the organization? Those are ways that you can express interest. But also, like I said, every chapter is different. So everybody's experience is completely different based on the school that they're at. So these are just general tips, and these may not work for you, but it's just general tips. But I would not, no matter what school I was at, just go around, especially as a freshman, telling everybody what I want to be. One, it's not everybody's business. And two, it's important to be discreet. What if you think you want to be something and you change your mind? And now you've already told everybody that you want to be this, but next year you want to be something else. Then people are just going to think you're fake and that you just want to be Greek. And I've seen people flip-flop like that, and it never works out well when you flip-flop and stuff. Also know that it is a selection process. So no matter how much you want it, you may not be picked. Some of my friends wanted to be AKAs just like me, and they were not picked. But it doesn't mean that I'm better than them. It doesn't mean anything. It's nothing against their own character. So I would say if you try and you're not selected, don't take it personally. Unfortunately, every person who applies does not get picked. Maybe at some schools, but it's very rare. Like at my school, there was just no way. One, everybody wasn't qualified, but two, there was just no way, even if they were, that everybody could have been selected. It just does not work like that. So make sure that you are not so caught up in wanting to be it so bad that if you're not selected, that you're going to be like depressed or devastated. Like, one, you can try again, or two, you can do it on a graduate level. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But don't take it offensively is what I'm trying to say. Because I've seen a lot of people get their feelings hurt behind it. And it's just not that serious. Like, don't let it hurt you. Okay. If you're not picked, because everybody is not going to be picked. Just like with a job, every candidate that's interviewed does not get selected. What else can I say? When you are a freshman or sophomore, junior, whatever, and you think you may be interested in an organization, when you go to events that the organization is having, be kind to everybody there. It doesn't mean you have to be in everybody's face, but at least speak to people when you sit at a table with them or when you cross their paths. Because I say that because you don't want to burn bridges with people. You never know who's going to make it before you. So the person that you're sitting next to could be your line sister. Or that person may make it on the next line and maybe you don't make it. Well, guess what? If you're rude to that person and they made it before you, do you think they're really going to vote for you when you come back around next year expressing interest, or next semester expressing interest? Probably not. And that happens to a lot of people I know. So don't burn bridges. Don't be rude to people, because you never know. You never, ever know. And sometimes you will be shocked. You may think that so-and-so is not going to be selected and they are, and you were rude to that person. So have good character, make good decisions, and be kind to people, because you just never know. Make sure that you keep your grades up. Make sure you stay focused, and don't fall into these whole stereotype traps. There's a lot of stereotypes about women of Alpha, Kappa, Alpha, about Deltas, about Zetas, about SG Rows, about Alphas, about Kappas, about Qs, about Sigmas. There are stereotypes everywhere. Make your own judgments based on what you see and what you know. Do your research and make your own judgments, because there's a lot of these images that are promoted. Sometimes it's done all in fun, but sometimes people really believe everything that they hear about certain members of organizations. And I just think that's silly, because I am a person before I'm an AKA. I have my own personality. Yes, I can turn the attitude on, and I can be in a step show, and I can strut, and I can do all of that. But at the end of the day, I'm still myself. I am me. I am me. I didn't lose myself in this Greek process. So I'd advise you not to lose yourself either. And don't believe all the stereotypes, because it's not always accurate or true. It's not. Also, I tell people this too. When I pledged, I never pledged hate. My big sisters, my pro fights never taught me to hate any other organization. So if you decide to join an organization and all they talking about is hating another organization, you may not want to join that organization at your school, because nowhere in mission statements for any Greek organization does it talk about hating another. Okay. In fact, when organizations were first originated and started, a lot of them collaborated on joint efforts to enhance the African American community. So I respect all of the Divine Nine, whether you're a Delta, whether you're a Kappa, whatever you are. If you're living up to your mission, I respect you for that. I respect all organizations. So don't hate. Do not hate. Don't judge someone or just not like them because they're in another sorority, or you're interested in this one and they're interested in that one. So that means you two can't be friends. That's not true. For example, I am a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, but my best friend is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta, and we are the best of friends. It did not ruin our friendship. I've seen friendships be ruined because women had different interests, and I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. You can want to be a member of a totally different sorority than someone else, but it doesn't mean that you two can't be friends. And it doesn't mean because you become something that you have to hate someone else that chooses a different path. You may feel like your organization is the best. I feel like mine is the best. But it doesn't mean I have to hate someone else who thinks that has another opinion than me. So don't fall into that like catty stuff either. It's not worth it. And also, it doesn't support the mission of your organization. If you know the mission of your organization and you remind yourself of what that is and why you want to be a member, you'll stay out of the negative part of it. I think I covered mostly everything. I didn't really say why I want to be AKA, I guess. But let me get to that really quick. I wanted to be an AKA because I did my research and I felt like the ideals of the organization suited who I was